Today we are making Blinchiki, Russian crepes. This is a recipe most requested by my daughter, so this one's for you, Julie. Okay guys, so I'm going to use my mixer, my blender to make them today, but you can certainly do it by hand. You can use a whisk or a fork to mix the ingredients together. We're going to start by adding 3 eggs into our blender. I'm also going to add 1 whole cup of whole milk. I also have 2 tablespoons of white granulated sugar, 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil, 1 teaspoon of salt, and it's a little bit more than 3/4 cups of flour, but it's not 1 cup. And now I'm just going to blend that all together, and I'm going to let it sit for about 15 minutes, and I'll show you the next step. Okay guys, this is a little bit nerve-wracking because this isn't the easiest thing in the world to do, and I'm doing it on camera with a tripod between me and this pan. But I'm going to film this for you guys. So you want to use a non-stick pan for this. I can't imagine doing it not in a non-stick pan. Some people like to grease their pan. You can either take a half an onion or a half a potato and dip it in some oil and then just brush it, but I don't think it's necessary. You have oil in the batter. And I also want to mention, I'm going to take this off for now so it doesn't get too hot. I did let the batter rest for a little while, but you don't have to. I've done it without letting it rest. It works just fine. So now I'm just going to get my pan hot, and don't do what I just did. That was dangerous. And I have my batter in a measuring cup. And as I pour, I swirl. And you want to try to get this thin. And there's a Russian saying that says "Первый блин комом," which basically means that your first blin is always a failure. And this probably will be, and I'm going to show you that. Okay, so when you see your edges turning brown, I don't know if you can make that out, but they're getting nice and brown. I use a knife to lift up the edge, and I'm using my hands to lift up the blinchik. And it's a little hot, but I've gotten used to it, and look at that. It wasn't a total failure. And then it's just a few more seconds until the other side gets cooked. You're looking for that on the other side. And now I'm just going to brush it with a stick of butter. This is how I do it. If you want, you could melt your butter and use a brush, but I just do it like this. And now we're going to make our next one. I'll just show you again. I'm using my measuring cup, and as I pour, I swirl. I'm trying to get a thin layer to cover it. This takes practice. I'm not going to lie and tell you that it's easy. And you're going to cook this over a medium flame. You don't want to burn them. Keep an eye on them. They cook very quickly once you get the brown going. If you're afraid to do what I did, then certainly use a spatula, and most people don't recommend using metal anywhere near the stainless pans, but I'm not really scratching, I'm just lifting. You could also use a wooden skewer to get underneath the edges. This is just how I do it. Okay guys, I got a total of 11 out of them, out of the batter that I made, and I'll show you the finished product in a minute. There's so many different ways to serve these blinchiki or crepes. This is my kids' favorite way, with some powdered sugar. You could also fill them with Nutella and bananas. I might show you how to do a cheese-filled crepe one of these days. You can also make them savory with some meat, and I'll show you my husband's favorite way in a minute. Here's my husband's favorite way of having blinchiki, with salmon roe, caviar, and a dollop of sour cream, and a little sprig of dill. I hope you guys enjoy.